Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel where my fake hair doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Welcome back to the DeVores Wild fam. Oh my gosh. My son is passing gas. Okay, so only 2 of my kids have school today. Well, 3 of my kids, because Allie does online. Parker and Tiffany have to go to school every other Monday. The little ones don't have any school, so I made some cornbread for breakfast. So I thought it would just be something different. They can put some maple syrup on it if they want, or if they don't want that, they can have cereal. There's plenty of cereal, plenty of oatmeal. I have to look. I think I have like 170 left on our grocery budget. I splurged again and I bought some Special K cereal with the strawberries in it. I know it's not the best for you, but I love that cereal and it's never on coupon, and it was on coupon at, not Sam's, at Costco. Anyways, today I thought I would talk about why we moved from California to Idaho and how we did that very frugally. So I've talked about this before in past videos, but a little backdrop. I have 2 kids from a previous marriage, and Adam had a son from a previous marriage, and then we became the Brady Bunch, and we've had 4 kids together. When I first married Adam, he was a truck driver. He ran his own business, hauling like rock and concrete, rock and like dirt for like construction or people building houses and roads and stuff. He drove an end dump and he made fairly good money. He was his own boss. He loved it, had his own truck. Anyways, 2008 happened and the recession hit and nobody was building anymore. And he ended up losing everything, and they repossessed, not his big truck. Luckily, his big rig, that he had bought it from a family friend, so that guy just took it back. That was good. But we did lose his regular truck, like his pickup, and we just really had a hard time making rent. Fortunately, we had really good landlords that were always very kind to us, and one time they even let us skip the month of December so we could buy Christmas presents for our kids. Things just got really tight, so we decided to cut our losses and we moved in with my sister and brother-in-law. Now, we were living in Northern California where my stepson lives, and my family lives in Southern California, so it's about a 450-mile difference. It takes about 8 hours to drive. So we put all of our stuff into storage and moved in with my sister and my brother-in-law. And Adam decided he was going to take the test to become an electrician, which is what my brother-in-law does, and he would do the apprenticeship. It takes 5 years of school before you can journey out to become an electrician. Anyway, he made the program. We moved down there. We lived with my sister for a year. They didn't charge us any rent. I'm still grateful for her to this day. Jillian was just born, so I just had my 5th child when we had moved in with my sister. We lived there for a year, rent-free, saved up enough money to get back on our feet, and we ended up renting the house right across the street from my sister, and we lived there for 5 years until Adam graduated the apprenticeship program. Now, he only made it as an apprentice. He didn't make very much money, $15 an hour. I think the highest he made was $18. But again, we had great landlords, so our rent for a 5-bedroom was only $12.50. And if we couldn't make a payment some months, those people were very kind to us too. We were very lucky. Anyway, when he graduated with top honors, he was like valedictorian of his class for all 5 years. He had perfect grade point average. He won the apprenticeship of the year, and it was really cool. We had a nice graduation. We got to dress up, and so after he graduated, he decided he wanted to move back up to Northern California where my stepson is, so we could be closer to him and take a job as an electrician working in the Bay Area because they pay more. But cost of living is higher, but we figured if we lived outside of the Bay Area and he commuted, that it would work itself out. So once again, we packed up our stuff, and this time we have like a huge moving van. It cost a pretty penny. And I'll get to this, that's why I didn't do it when we moved here. It costs a lot of money to move up back to Northern California. And even with living outside the Bay Area, our rent, the cornbread's done. Look at this, you guys. Who wants some? Smells so good. Okay, where was I? Okay, so our rent, like, we had to live with my brother-in-law and my in-laws for like a month and a half because we just could not find anywhere to rent. It was a nightmare. Places had just gone up so high. Finally found a place in Lathrop, which is about an hour from the Bay Area and like 2 minutes from my stepson, but our rent was $2,500. Now granted, he'd already gotten hired at a job, so he was making like $56 an hour. So the rent should have been no problem. Utility, everything should have been no problem. So we finally get into this house and things were going fairly well. When we lived in Southern California, we were in a very rural community. I'm talking dirt road. And, you know, I was used to having my sister across the street, my mom 10 minutes away, and all of a sudden we were in kind of a city, more city life. It took some adjusting. My in-laws were still 45 minutes away, so it took some adjusting, but we had lived kind of in that area before, so I went back to the church we had went to when the kids were really little and just hooked up with my old friends, and things were going well. The only thing that was really like sucky at that time was his commute, because he would leave at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't get home till after 8 o'clock at night, and that wasn't the work day, that was sitting in traffic. That really wore on him really quick, but you know, there was no way we could afford the rents in the Bay Area. My 14-year-old son is just standing in the kitchen like staring at me. I'm like, what do you need? He's like, can I have some cornbread? I'm like, hey, it's gotta cool, so we'll make your bed. Anyway, so that got old really quick. That was really hard on me and the kids because, you know, we just didn't see him. But for the first time in our lives, we had money coming in. I was able to put money away, and you know, simple things like if the kids got invited to a birthday party, I didn't just have to go to the Dollar Tree and buy a gift. I could go to Walmart or Target and buy a gift that was over $10. I don't know. It was just nice having the security. And so that was October. And in March of the next year, so just a few months later, he fell at work. And it was bad. He tripped over some drywall while he was holding a nail plate. So nail plate's like this long. It's got prongs on it, like this sharp that stick out. Unfortunately, he was holding it with the prongs facing his hand, which is not good. He was wearing very thick work gloves, but when he fell, the prongs went through his hand, puncturing all the tendons in his right hand. He is right-handed, and electricians use their hands to twist and do stuff, and it was ugly. So all of a sudden he was facing surgery and physical therapy, and he had to go on disability, and it was a mess. And disability does not even cover our rent. It got ugly really fast. We were able to get on food stamps, but he still made too much we didn't get the full amount because he still got disability. It was a very stressful time because it was just hard. Like, I don't even know how we did. For a year, we lived kind of in fear. Like, we had no money to put away. I had to borrow several times. I couldn't work because I still had Kennedy at home. We were still trying to decide what her diagnosis was, and it was just, it was not good. And then like we're still dealing with the settlement because they left drywall out where they weren't supposed to. So 6 months go by on that, and we decided we should move. And so basically we were just looking on the map for places that were, the cost of living was cheaper, but he could still make okay money if he was to go back to being an electrician, where we could survive on his disability, because they told us his disability would still remain the same for California. Like he'd get that amount even if we lived in a different state. So first we were really considering moving to Greenville, South Carolina. We even had a house. Like all we had to do was put down the deposit. So we were waiting for our tax return to put down this deposit. And at the last minute, we decided we didn't want to go that far because it'd be really hard for a family, you know, to come visit us. So we didn't do it, and then we just kind of lived off of our tax return. And like another 6 months go by, and they were going to end up raising our rent, and we're like, okay, we're done. Like we have to get out of here. So we took drastic measures. We had a Ford truck that my dad had sold to us, and so because he had been commuting, the car made more sense. It got better gas mileage. We sold the truck, and I think he got $5,000 for it. So I put that automatically into an envelope, and I labeled the envelope moving funds. And then we waited for our tax return again, which wasn't as big because he had been on disability. But we got that tax return, picked a place on the map. My nephew lives in Boise, Idaho, and so we were looking around that area to have some sort of family. No such luck with rent. A lot of people don't want to rent to people that have a lot of kids. So a friend of mine that used to live in Northern California that had gone to our church reached out to me on Facebook and said, have you guys tried Idaho Falls? And I said, no, what is Idaho Falls? And she goes, well, it's Eastern Idaho. It's about, 3 hours from Boise. She said, but you might have a easier time finding a place to rent. It is a predominantly LDS community, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but most LDS families have a lot of kids. And she said you might find it easier to rent a house sight unseen with so many kids. And so she actually sent me a link that day to a house, and I was showing Adam, like, the house looks nice. Of course, pictures can be deceiving, and so we called it and put in our information because we were ready to get out of there. And we got accepted, and the rent was good. And my friend said she was here. She said that it was very family oriented, that it was a nice place to raise kids. So we kind of took her word for it. Now, before we got that house, I had been in the process of selling everything. I had made the mistake when we moved from Southern California to Northern California, paying all this money to move crap that I didn't want. We were moving broken furniture, and I wasn't going to do that this time. My kids are rough, and so we don't have the nicest things. So I sold everything. I sold our hutch. We had a really nice hutch and a really nice table. I sold it. I sold my piano. That part was hard. I sold their beds. I sold our bed. I sold our dressers. We didn't take anything. We rented the smallest trailer that we could rent to fit all of our clothes and the things, his tools, his what do you call it, his big toolbox, and our washer and dryer. Our TVs we kept. I'm trying to think. I got rid of all our dishes. Our water cooler we kept. I got rid of everything so that it cost I want to say $800. I can't remember. It was under $1,000 though. It was a trailer. It was like a pod thing. So they dropped it off, we packed it up, and then they came and picked it up. So all we had to do was drive our vehicles to Idaho Falls. That's how we did it. I mean, we basically started over, but it's not, besides our table and hutch, we didn't really have a lot of nice things. And I made a pretty penny selling all that stuff, and that helped us move, and that also helped us refurnish. So when we got here, Again, we rented this house sight unseen, had never seen it before. I was very pleased that it looked just like the pictures, and it's old and it's funky and it needs work, but we had this huge yard and this beautiful street. I didn't know that the street was this beautiful. I didn't know that the park and the pool was literally walking distance from our house. Like, we really got lucky, and we were able, he was still on disability, so we were able to pay our rent easy and buy groceries, and all that stuff came very easy. But we got rid of everything, and then when we got here, like, we were sleeping on the floors for like a month. Yeah, and we just kept going to the thrift stores and buying things here and there and furnishing our house. We used to have an old picnic table in our dining room that had benches. It's outside now. That's what we used for our table. The 2 chairs that I'm trying to get rid of now were $5 each. The first couch we had was $30, but it broke, so we have another couch from the thrift store. I didn't get a table until, it's not even been a year. I've had this table for about 8 months. That it took a while to get the table. The only things that we ended up buying new were a mattress for me and Adam, and the pink bunk bed that is downstairs that the kids absolutely hate, but I got it at Walmart for $200, and honestly I could not find beds, like used bunk beds, for under that, you know. So it's pink, whatever, they hate it. That's why it was cheaper, because it's an like Pepto-Bismol pink. It's ugly, but it works. Yeah, we just kept slowly furnishing our house. I got all my dishes at the thrift store. The only dishes that we did keep were like my mixer and like my Al canisters that you see in my vlogs that I keep my sugar and stuff in. I kept some of my dishes, and I kept some of my pans too, because those are more expensive to replace. But yeah, all my dishes, silverware, all that stuff from the thrift store. Actually, our silverware is from Costco. What else? Is Tiffany up? Look at that. I put some syrup on it. This is for Parker, but I'm gonna taste it. He can get more. And if they don't want it for breakfast, we still have leftover pinto beans that I made, and like the chili, so they can have that for lunch. Jack. Good. Like oatmeal. Okay, so sometimes you just have to take drastic measures if things aren't working out, because we were drowning in Northern California. It was a very stressful time. I ended up losing weight because I was so stressed out about bills, and it was just so like that shameful feeling of having to borrow money from people, and it was just not good. And so yeah, we sold our vehicles, we sold our furniture, we sold everything, and came here and refurnished our house from the thrift stores. So that is the story of how we came to Idaho Falls. We did have some hardships here. Our first December here, our first Christmas, things got kind of ugly. But this neighborhood was great, and everybody rallied together to help us. What happened was my husband needed a second surgery. He had it here on his hand, and disability got messed up, and they cut his disability off, even though he just had another surgery. And so we were left with zero income. We had stuff in savings, but it went pretty fast. So by the time Christmas came, we didn't have very much money left. But yeah, the schools pulled together and the community pulled together, and now we're doing okay. He was able to be a bus driver for a little while he was getting partial disability, right after his hand healed. So they only make $11 an hour here, but he was still getting partial disability and driving the bus, so it worked out. And then when the disability completely ended, he got hired on with the Coca-Cola truck. Like, he's a driver, and it's here in town, so he's not like gone for weeks at a time or anything. And he likes it okay. It pays. He makes $16 an hour, but he does work a lot of overtime. So we were just really frugal with our money. We have 6 kids, so it could get crazy. Like, I have a problem with Amazon. Like, I get on there, I'm like, oh, I need this and this, and it could get ugly really fast. But we still working on our budget. We canceled Netflix and Hulu. things like we just can't, like we've gotten rid of like a lot of things this past month. I'm still sticking to my grocery budget. Like I think I have 170 left. I have to look at my receipt, and there's what, a week left of January. What's today? Yeah, about a week left. So I am gonna do it. Like I'm excited. I'm doing it. But yeah, I guess that's it. So I mean, sometimes you just have to take drastic measures to make things work. I know not everybody's story ends up as well as ours. Like I said, we got really lucky, really lucky. The really sad thing though that happened when the day that we got here, my friend who had found the house for us was like, message me when you get into town. She had 10 kids. She's like, I'll send some of my older boys over to help you guys unload the trailer. Our trailer didn't end up coming for like almost 2 weeks after we got here, but yeah, we got here, and we were at the, I don't remember where we were. We were somewhere, just me and Adam. I think it was at the U-Haul place. I think we were renting a truck to get a couch that first, like, because we got here early in the morning. It was like that first day we were gonna get a couch for the living room, and I was waiting for him when he was in the U-Haul place getting the truck, and I got on Facebook, and her husband, it wasn't her ex-husband, but they were separated at the time, had posted that she had died okay, hold on, no. So this was the day after we got here. Okay, so he said that she had gotten an automobile accident the day before, so she got in the accident the day we got here, and she had passed away. And I was like, what? Like, I had just spoken with her like 2 days before that. It was really sad because she found our house, and I was really excited, and seen her in like 6 years. I was really excited about getting together with her, but that was unfortunate. We went to her funeral, and I still talk to her husband. I just call him her husband. But yeah, that part was sad. Anyways, that's it. More videos to come. I'm feeling inspired. I'll have to show you what else we bought with our other gift card. We still have one gift card left. I ended up buying another one of those. As you know, I've been searching for dressers for my son. I haven't had any luck, and I thought, you know what, for not even $100, that thing was like, it's like 90 bucks, and then with tax it's 100, would fit all of their clothes. So we went and got another one, and it's downstairs in the basement, so they have a dresser. So yeah, I'll have to show you that. And they were shoving all their clothes into like plastic bins, so that freed up the plastic bins. So maybe now I can organize all our sheets and pillowcases and things like that. So I'm gonna take these two older ones to school, chicken tendies. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever had to do like a drastic move like that, or let me know in the comments below where you're at. I'd love to know what state or even what country you are in. We really like Idaho. You guys all know I like the snow. So it's a very, very different climate from where we lived in California. All right, guys, chicken tendies, take care.